Hey, Georgia. Really quick, I have a question for Congressional District 7. Is this your guy?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take time to talk about the biggest threat to our nation, our ability to thrive as a nation and an economy. And it's not really being addressed, even with the Herculean efforts of the DOGE and everybody else talking about what cuts we're going to make to the budget, which is around $7 trillion right now.
Sorry to put a bee in your bonnet, Mr. McCormick, but in actuality, Elon Musk has saved the country, the government, $160 billion. Although that savings will cost American citizens $135 billion in this fiscal year. You were saying?
But we need to have a realistic conversation. We're $35 trillion in debt. $35 trillion. We bring in less than $5 trillion per year to pay those debts and to pay for the entire budget.
Your concern is extremely warranted. I totally understand. Having a $35 trillion debt against our $5 trillion a year budget is crazy. So adding an additional $2.4 trillion and cutting Medicare, which is $880 million, to add that money to the deficit, which is crazy. Right? What else are you talking about? Let's find out.
Right now with this freeze, vulnerable populations could be directly impacted. And so my question to you, just to follow up with you, would you support getting rid of, school lunch for vulnerable kids and breakfast and Head Start, for example, and getting rid of childhood cancer research? Do you support that? And what do you say to your constituents? I want to follow up on that question too, because I didn't hear an answer from you.
When you talk about school lunches, hey, I worked my way through high school. I don't know about you, but I worked since I was, before I was even 13 years old. I was picking berries in the field before we had child labor laws that precluded that. I was a paper boy. And when I was in high school, I worked my entire way through. You're telling me that kids who stay at home instead of going to work at Burger King and McDonald's during the summer should stay at home and get their free lunch instead of going to work? I think we need to have a top-down review.
I think you're painting a lot of these kids with a broad brush.
Hearing this, his stance on child poverty actually makes a lot of sense now, considering he voted for a bill that would make the dependent age of 18 being the cap of a dependent, or 24 if you're in school. They bring that down to 7. 7 years old is where the dependency of a child ends in this big, beautiful bill. A 7-year-old is no longer a dependent in this bill. Now I get it. Now I understand what he's... No, I don't. Something's wrong here. Let's keep going.
If we continue to grow the size of government and we can't afford it, it's going to have shortfalls in your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and other things that we can't afford, guys. We have to make some decisions. 1,300 people, which you're referring to. A lot of the work they do is duplicitous with AI. Once again, one of the problems we have.
So basically, for the congressman, AI taking your job is not a problem. Donald Trump spending $300 million on golfing expeditions is not a problem. Trillions of dollars for the military and cuts to Job Corps that no longer exists now, they closed Job Corps down, is not a problem. Anyone having upward mobility out of poverty is a problem. People having Medicaid and Medicare is a problem. Social Security is a problem. Cuts to social programs, a problem. Cuts to jobs. 1,300 people from the CDC got fired in Atlanta. That's one of the biggest employers in Atlanta, period. What's that do to businesses in Atlanta, in and around Atlanta? Budgets are being slashed all over the state. But here in Atlanta, they have to find funds for school, for upcoming school year, because they've been slashed by the congressman who is making allowances and saying, basically, you don't need health care, even though he's a doctor. You don't need Medicaid. 18 million people are going to be kicked off of their Medicaid, but that's fine. That's all right. Trump gets to go golfing. 7-year-olds won't have SNAP and are no longer dependents. We have a military budget that's astronomical for what? And if you haven't seen the video of tanks rolling into the city of Atlanta today, that came out today. There's a video. They're rolling into Grant Park. Why are tanks in the middle of a metropolitan city? So, Georgia 7, you have got to do better. This is a man who's only been your congressperson for 4 years. And in the last 2, he has shown you who he is, including an adulterer, apparently. It's a thing. It's a running thing in Georgia. All right. Looking at you, Mary Jo, Marjorie, whatever her name is. Anyway, so I'm going to keep you up to date. I'm going to let you know what's going on because it's important that you know. And this bill is detrimental to everyone. Even if you make $400,000 a year, you're going to feel the effects. Your businesses will feel the effects. If those working class people can't buy things, they're not buying things. I was in Sephora today. How are you guys doing? It's really slow. Is it? People are broke. People are saving. People are scared. They're trying to create a country of desperation. Keep showing up to town halls. Keep showing up in the streets. Be vigilant. Democracy or die, basically.